Welcome back. Now it's the time for my Ukrainian Macedonian Friendship Day. And welcome back here from Skopje, the beautiful capital of North Macedonia, and full of friendly places, beautiful places for Ukrainian tourists to be very welcome. Here is like a paradise for the Ukrainians. They are really very welcome here, and it's a friendly country, a pro-Western country which speaks the language which is very similar to Ukraine. You have also Cyrillic languages, and it's the birthplace and the place where Cyril and Method came to bring Christianity to Ukraine. And what better place, I think, for a real strong strategic partnership between beautiful Ukraine and beautiful Macedonia. And me as an Austrian, somehow in between, I will promote this now, and I will explain what can be done here for the Ukrainians, how it can be the partnership between Ukraine and Macedonia be strengthened, and how it makes all sense. And in this video I will explain all of that. First of all, Ukrainians, come to Macedonia. It's beautiful here, it's amazing, you are very welcome, and it's full of this beautiful old town here for touristic purposes, to go out, to have fun. It's very hot country here, they are friendly people, it's a tourism place, and they really like it here. And they are all friendly, they wait for your arrival. There's no problems with visa, there's no problem with COVID here in Macedonia. It's really a perfect country for tourism. They have great facilities here, great hotels, and really it's beautiful. And so I recommend. And it's also politically a friendly country. It has also gone through difficult times. It has also difficult issues in the history, like Ukraine has gone through, but it has overcome them with the help of the West and with the help of the European Union and NATO. It has achieved NATO membership already. And what a beautiful role model for Ukraine to follow that. If anybody would have told me 10 years ago, actually I believe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I'm a bit maybe specific, but it's a kind of miracle of freedom that Macedonia has managed this. It was very difficult. 2018 it had to do this name change, and the problems with Bulgaria are still unsolved. So it's not easy here, politically. But they have listened to the West, they have followed their advice, and they have managed. And they are now a member of the alliance. Ukraine still wants to join. So much to do. They have also complicated identity issues. Too many. I will show you again some of these beautiful buildings here and the monuments and all the issues of the past. It's complicated, obviously, and it's also complicated in beautiful Ukraine. There's no doubt about it. There's all these contentious issues of the past which cannot be easily regulated. I understand that all, and I try to learn what I don't understand. But it's possible, and it's very hot here. That's what many people in Ukraine like. The heat, obviously, is one thing which is maybe too much for me. You see me sweating. It has close to 40 degrees now, and maybe not the wisest moment to make a video. But I decided to go out, and here is Philip II the Macedon. Over there, of course, Alexander the Great. I show you here. It's beautiful, and here in between, in the middle of the heat, it's the Cyril and Method. These are the biggest holy men of Orthodox Christianity. And they brought it from everywhere in Eastern Europe, the alphabet. And why not to visit? For every Ukrainian, I think, to have been at once here in Skopje, and then to go to beautiful, here's the Holocaust Museum, also very meaningful for all Ukrainian tourists. I will try to visit now. And here is the Cyril and Method, and then to go to Ohrid, to visit the city. And I think it's for many aspects, from culture, history, and for everything. It's very meaningful for any Ukrainian to come here, and I recommend it. Oh, I'm a bit sweaty now, really. And we will learn about the history now and everything. And I call on all Ukrainians, come here to the birthplace of Cyril and Method, and to learn about the origin, the future, the past, the culture. I think this is a beautiful idea, and I would like to promote it. And I will also talk about the history in a second. Follow me about the common future between Ukraine and Macedonia. I understand it's not so easy to join NATO and the EU. I understand it, but there are some things that are quite easy to be adopted, and I will now talk about them here in a second. I will just work on my stative. Here you see again Cyril and Method, and here you see the city. And I will now talk about what Ukraine and Macedonia shall, can, must do together. Where's the similarities and what needs to be done to achieve progress in EU accession, what you can learn from Macedonia and Ukraine, and what actually is already perfect in both countries. For example, Ukraine seriously is already more advanced when it comes to technology. There is something to learn from Macedonia here. But of course, Macedonia is in NATO. It matters so much. It's unbelievable. And of course, it's major progress. And I will just try to sit for a second in the shadow, not to die of a heat stroke while I work for Macedonian-Ukrainian friendship. Good. So, we are here now. I'm sitting in the shadow, so let me do this short explanation. Of course, NATO is very important. NATO is the future also for Ukraine, but it's not so easy. You need to make what Macedonia has achieved, get all these neighborhood issues together, especially in the Ukrainian case, it's with Hungary. So you need this kind of Prespa dialogue style with Hungary in order to overcome. That's maybe not so easy, and it was not easy, and it's maybe not possible with the help during the time of Orban, but we have to start. So it needs a Ukrainian-Hungarian dialogue, similar like Prespa, to settle all these issues which are so complicated. It must be helped and monitored by the EU, and it must be also helped by the Americans, obviously. That's the first thing. The second thing is obviously the currency. Like with the situation with Macedonia, where I called already for the euro, it's also important that Ukraine adopts the same currency policy like Macedonia. That means to peg to the euro. That means a fixed exchange rate direction towards the euro. That's the most important. And then to adopt the euro. Best in this mandate. But I understand Zelensky doesn't want to hear from that. He is not an innovator. He really is not, he's a disappointment for me. But nevertheless, this is the way, obviously. The Macedonian way is the way also for Ukraine. And then also, this is most important, that Ukraine joins the Central European Free Trade Area. And that exists already since 2006, it's in 92 actually, but since 2006 all the countries of Southeastern Europe have joined. And then also the Regional Cooperation Council. Here Moldova, this is a very important role model. Congratulations, by the way, for the pro-European victory. Now we have a president in Moldova, pro-European, and a clear majority for pro-European reforms. I hope just that the Europeans are not further rejecting Moldova's EU potential candidate status and also NATO membership, because that's obviously very necessary for both countries, and to adopt the euro in Moldova as well. Best regards to my friends in Moldova. But now let me focus about Ukraine and Macedonia. So it's very important that Ukraine joins, like Moldova, as well the Regional Cooperation Council for Southeastern Europe, and learns with the other countries here from the region what needs to be done. And here, of course, in Skopje, it's one of the key centers. And I call the Macedonian authorities to take Macedonia by the hand and now take Ukraine by the hand. It's a lot of economic opportunities, obviously, for Macedonia to work with such an important and strong and economically powerful country like Ukraine. In the defense industry, in the agricultural industry, in the IT industry, there are many opportunities. But also it's very important for Ukraine to learn how to really work in the European Union, in the Regional Cooperation Council at first. And Ukraine must be also an important power in the Balkans. You cannot leave that role only to Russia or to the West. Ukraine must engage and must have her own Balkan policy and must make friends in the Balkans as already members in the EU institutions and in NATO, obviously, Albania, Montenegro and Macedonia. This is really very important. And also Macedonia must fully join the sanction regime. I think there are still 1 or 2 issues open that also must be regulated. So here is what Ukraine and Macedonia can do together economically inside the euro payment system, inside the euro as a currency. That's very important, but also inside the trade system, form a customs union. Because I called already many times that CEFTA must be upgraded to a EU customs union, but ultimately what we need to achieve is also that the DCFTA is transformed and upgraded in a customs union, and that also Ukraine and Macedonia are then in the same customs union. That's very meaningful. And then there must be also direct flights between Skopje and Kiev and between the big metropolis. And to make sure that the Macedonian tourists go to Kiev, it's also so much to see from the religious side. Lavra, that's basically the Vatican of the Orthodoxy. And here to be at the Ohrid Lake and to be here at the big monuments and the monasteries from the heart of Byzantinian Christianity and Orthodox Christianity. I think it's very meaningful for many of the Ukrainians. And there's also many opportunities for them to work here, maybe in the tourism industry, to work as well in other sectors, and to gradually to merge together in the European Union as members. Of course, Macedonia will be much faster than my telling it now in 2024. Ukraine might need 29 or 34, but it will come as well. And then already the economic cooperation must be much closer. And I call on all Ukrainians to at least once in their life to see Macedonia, to see Ohrid, to go and enjoy these beautiful places, maybe not in the July heat, or at least then stay in, in a good hotel to be safe. I will now try to hide in one of the museums and learn more about the history of this beautiful country and get acquainted more, because I still see that I need to learn a lot about Macedonia, a country I love and I really admire. I want to support and I want to see in the European Union, and I celebrate the NATO membership. And this is obviously something which is very meaningful for Ukraine. And I can send all my best regards to my friends in Ukraine. And look how beautiful it is here. Look. Yeah. Won't you come? Won't you be as successful as Macedonia in the euro? With a pegged currency in CEFTA and the Regional Cooperation Council? And per capita, Macedonia is considerably richer already than Ukraine. Never forget. Almost double the level of prosperity is achieved here, because they are more advanced on the European trajectory. And I think this is something Ukrainians should see from the institutions, learn, work very well, and must be also then copied in Ukraine. But also the economic power, of course, of a big country like Ukraine would be very beneficial for Macedonia. And also the mutual learning, I think, would be good. For all this, the currency and economic integration and also the political integration between Ukraine and Macedonia must be promoted. There's an excellent ambassador here from Ukraine to Macedonia. I don't know the other side, there is certainly much to be done. There's also many cultural issues which are of course of significance and of cooperation. Here I will now visit the Holocaust Museum and the Wimmera Museum and the other museums. Let's see how many I can manage. But it's just my call here at this moment. Make sure that you come here. All Ukrainians are very welcome here in this beautiful town of Skopje, Ohrid, Mavrovo, so many great places of significance. And I hope that many will follow this advice. And please, Ukrainians, you're very welcome here in Skopje. This is your ally, this is your friend, this is your partner. Join the Regional Cooperation Council, join CEFTA, and make sure that you adopt the euro in Ukraine and in Macedonia together and follow the development model of this beautiful town. And it's a really amazing place to visit. Every Ukrainian should be here. And let me close with a last moment to go to the place of the beautiful holy man of the Orthodox Church, and maybe this will convince many. If I cannot, with my Vyshyvanka here, convince the Ukrainians, maybe you, the holy man of Orthodoxy, can do it. Come here to the birthplace of Cyril and Methodius here. They are calling you. They are calling you, Ukraine. Come, visit. We need a lot of Ukrainians here in Skopje, please. And you can learn a lot also from this beautiful place. So it's time to unite our efforts here between Ukraine and Macedonia, and all together to join this beautiful place and to join the West, the free world. Macedonia has achieved it in NATO, now EU is close, and then Ukraine will repeat the Macedonian success model. And together we will be all very successful. And all these past powers of Turkey up there and of Russia, which is very active here, much more active than Ukraine, I hear from my friends here. Let's be sure that Ukraine also takes this message very serious and starts to engage here. And it's a common cultural heritage area here of Eastern Orthodoxy between the Kiev and Skopje. And please, all Ukrainians, come, support, learn, let's cooperate. Macedonia is open for all Ukrainians. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.